next speaker is Ajay Balakrishnan from Amity Labs, a computer-human and interaction research wing of the Amity University. The work at Amity Labs is particularly exciting because of its path-breaking simulation devices for vocational training that they have been working on. Ajay, the floor is yours.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank Sankalp Forum for inviting us to present our project here. So today I'll be talking about Amity Labs and what we do in the field of skill development. India is facing a huge skill deficit. We need 244 million skilled workers in the next 10 years. We have a population of more than 1.2 billion, but only 8% of the employed folks have actually got some sort of formal vocational training. 90% of those employed work in the informal sector characterized by low wages, no skill, and struggling to come out of poverty. So this issue is very critical and we need to address it so that our country can progress both economically and socially. Now there are a few reasons why we're having the skill deficit. First of all, we have low training capacity. Our training capacity is just 3.1 million every year, whereas more than 18 million folks enter the workforce. Now, lack of access to training. Our training centers are actually not located where the people are. It's located in towns and cities, but most of our population lives in the villages. Lack of trainers. The few folks who actually does the training get well-paid jobs, or some others migrate to countries like the Middle East where there are a lot of requirements. So we don't have skilled trainers to come and teach. Outdated practices in curriculum. So what happens in the colleges, what is taught in the colleges is not what the industry needs. The curriculum is totally outdated. And also most of these institutes does not have the machinery to that the industry uses. Illiteracy continues to be a serious problem. Social stigma. So in India, unfortunately, we don't have the dignity of labor. Like whereas in US, a person is happy to say or like proud to say that I'm a plumber, but in India, they see it as a menial job. A farmer's son does not want to be a farmer anymore. So at Amity Labs, we are actually part of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, one of the youngest and growing universities in India. So we asked ourselves, how can we reduce the dependency on trainers? How can we do training without the use of tools and materials, or reduce the tools and materials? How can we reduce the cost of training? How can we make training accessible to people? So with these questions, we researched multiple technologies and came up with an approach. So at our labs, we use advanced human-computer interaction technologies to develop innovative and cutting-edge applications. And we focus on rural and remote communities, disadvantaged women, economically challenged individuals. So let's quickly go to the approach. So our solution has actually multiple components. The first component is videos and animated lectures. So we take quality lectures by experts from the field to cover the nitty-gritty details of how a procedure is executed, and animations to cover the basic working concepts. Then we have 2D, 3D interactive simulations. So these are like we use gaming technologies, which is very popular these days. So through this, we can actually teach a person the real work scenarios, and they can practice it repeatedly till they're proficient in it. And it is very immersive and engaging. Next is the virtual hands-on simulations. This is the innovative technology that we have recently identified and used. And it actually helps to train a person on tools and machinery without the need for the physical equipment. And finally, we have an evaluation module that evaluates the competencies of these of the trade. So we are not saying that we can actually remove or take away the trainer, or that we can do away with the real hands-on training, which is very characteristic of vocational trade. 70% of the vocational trade is actually hands-on. So we need to really focus on that. So we'll take a minute to quickly go through that technology, which is the innovative part, the most innovative part of our solution. It's haptics. Now haptics is a technology which is the sense of touch. Like you have optics. Optics is the sense of vision, haptics is the sense of touch. So using haptics, you can actually interact with the virtual environment. So on the screen that you see here, a person is trying to learn hacksaw. So in the screen you see the pipe and the hacksaw, and what you see as the device that the person is holding is the haptic device. So using this device, a person can actually feel the pipe, the texture of the pipe. the force that is applied on the pipe, the friction of the pipe, all that can be perceived, and he can actually do the training as in real life. And this environment actually also allows you to make mistakes. And like for example, to cut a pipe, you would need to move at a uniform pace. And if you actually bend the pipe, move the hacksaw to the sides, the blade breaks. So all those scenarios can be simulated, almost all the real life scenarios. So this haptics technology is not something new. It's used in the West, and it was mainly used for gaming, and it was used in medical surgery very successfully. It was like very precise kind of application of haptics. But what we have done unique is we have taken this technology and used it for vocational education. So the device that you see here is actually the first haptic device for vocational training in India, and it's actually recognized throughout the world. We're collaborating with Stanford and MIT, who's actually helping us fine-tune this solution. We'll take a quick video to see a few of the interfaces in action. Yeah, so what you see on the screen now is the haptic device that we developed actually can simulate more than 30 different tools. You can imagine the savings on the raw materials and buying the tools and the machinery. So this, the solution that we've developed, we talked about the different video lectures and all the haptic solution, we've actually taken to the people. We've deployed it at multiple locations in Kerala, and most recently we've trained 7 ladies to become full-time plumbers. That is, ladies in a male-dominated profession. We wanted to see how technology can actually help that, or to see how the reaction would be. So these ladies were from a very economically backward community, and with rudimentary education, and who were primarily housewives with no access to computers, with no prior computer experience. So let's quickly look at another short video to see their experience.
കുട്ടികളെ പഠിപ്പിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് എൻ്റെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ലക്ഷ്യം. പൈസ ഉണ്ടാക്കണം, ഉണ്ടാക്കി കൊടുക്കണം എന്നുള്ളൊരു ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്. എങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലും എൻ്റെ മക്കളെ നല്ല രീതിയിൽ എത്തിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് എൻ്റെ ജീവിതാഭിലാഷം. അമ്മയ്ക്ക് സുഖമില്ലാതായതിനു ശേഷം പഠിത്തം മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകാൻ പറ്റിയില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു കൈത്തൊഴിൽ അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഈ കോഴ്സിന് വന്നത്. ആദ്യം വന്നപ്പോൾ കമ്പ്യൂട്ടറിലായിരുന്നുകൊണ്ട് എനിക്ക് കുറച്ച് പേടിയും ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുകളും ഒക്കെ വിഷമമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടായി. അത് പിന്നീട് 2 ദിവസം ആയപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അതെല്ലാം മാറി.
ഈ കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ ആകുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാകാത്തത് വീണ്ടും വന്നിരുന്നത് കേൾക്കാം, എന്തുവാ ഒന്നുകൂടെ കേൾക്കാം, എത്ര വട്ടം വേണമെങ്കിലും നമുക്കത് കേട്ട് മനസ്സിലാക്കാം. അതാണ് കമ്പ്യൂട്ടറിൻ്റെ. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഈ ജോലി കൊണ്ട് ഇനി മുന്നോട്ട് പോകാൻ തന്നെ ഞങ്ങൾ തീരുമാനിക്കുന്നത്. ഞങ്ങൾ ഗ്രൂപ്പായിട്ട് തന്നെ ഞങ്ങളൊരു അതിനുവേണ്ടി ഒരു
റൂം എടുത്തിട്ട് ഇത് ഞങ്ങളവിടെ ഒരു അഡ്വർടൈസ്മെൻറ്റ് കൊടുത്ത് ഇത് ഗ്രൂപ്പായിട്ട് തന്നെ മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകണമെന്നാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ വിചാരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പം അതിനകത്തുള്ള വരുമാനവും ആകും, കൂടുതൽ ജോലി ഇതിനകത്ത് കൂടുതൽ തന്നെ മുന്നിട്ടിറങ്ങണമെന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ തീരുമാനം.
ഈ കോഴ്സ് പഠിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞതിന് ശേഷം എൻ്റെ ഭാവി എങ്ങനെ കൊണ്ടുപോകണമെന്നുള്ള ഒരു ധാരണ എനിക്ക് വ്യക്തമായിട്ട് കിട്ടി.
Yeah, so what you saw here was, so these ladies are currently doing their apprenticeship at Amrita and will be soon starting a self-help group. So this has actually created a ripple in the society. After this, actually we had 100 ladies wanting to become plumbers and they've applied. So two things that we learned is that the stigma of the vocational trade was totally removed. People actually was coming forward to become plumbers. Secondly, ladies can actually go into a male-dominated workplace. So we have some other projects to actually scale this more. We are working with the United Nations to train 3,000 women in the next 2 years using these technologies. And another pilot projects with MHRD and with BA Berg. So to take this training to remote areas, we are actually coming with a mobile classroom, which is actually equipped with all these equipments and which is solar powered. And these are some of our partners, and we would like to mention specifically MHRD, who's our primary funding source. So the key advantage, just to summarize the talk, is it's very scalable. It's low cost IT infrastructure, is cost effective, greater accessibility, the standardization of course content and delivery. You take this training, make it once, you take it throughout India, and you can ensure uniform education is given. Adaptability to local environment, language and dialect, it's multilingual. Reduction on the dependence on trainee up to 60% on the dependence on the trainer. Reduce cost of training, and most importantly, incentive to learn by improving the self-esteem. So actually, technology, I just want to end with this, that is technology can actually change the face of vocational training, and it can actually accelerate the skill development process, and it can bring in lasting social change. So I just want to end with a quote by our chancellor, who's our inspiration and guiding light. We are not isolated islands. Our lives are interconnected like the links of a chain. Whether we are aware of it or not, our every action has an effect on others. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay.